reliance on fossil fuels to become more environmentally friendly and pursue alternative.
I know that's back when he drunk the Kool-Aid. Now he's came to the light.
Energy, clean and green energy.
Climate change cult.
What's changed for you?
Nothing. The climate has always been changing. We should not be relying on all these foreign sources of energy. We should be unleashing energy dominance here in this country. We do it better for our environment that so many other countries do for theirs and for the rest of the world. It's better for our economy, our national security, and our environment. And I'll tell you, over the course of my first 6 months on this job, the announcement that I enjoyed putting out the most was on the 100th day of President Trump's term in office. We released 100 environmental accomplishments that we did in those first 100 days. We're very proud of our historic wildfire cleanup in Los Angeles. We increased water quality standards in Southeast Pennsylvania and into Delaware along the Delaware River Basin. Just last week, I was in Mexico City announcing an international agreement with Mexico to advance a permanent 100% solution, resolve the Tijuana.
Now, let's be real. There's EPA regulations that does promote a good environment, and then there's just some that's unnecessary and stifle business. Like, let's just keep it real on that. And what's going on, Monty?
What's up? You ready to get your butt whooped on the Say Hi debate?
Why not, man? Let's get into it. All right. So let me get my premise right here. I don't believe AI. I believe that we're putting the carriage before the horse, because it seems like we're progressing more in AI and not really figured out a way to make sure that the citizens or the people who AI is going to be replacing is secured with like some type of financial backing or some type of way to pursue or will still have some type of meaning in life.
So we're not really putting the carriage before the horse. I mean, maybe in terms of the economy, if that's what you mean. But like we've already had robotics and AI in industry for a long time. Like machines have been replacing humans for as long as I can remember.
Not at this level, to the point where we got a Tesla robot, we got self-driving cars that could like pretty much destroy an entire industry, and the only people that honestly still profit are the guys at the top.
So the guys at the top are going to be the people that own those robots. So the robot is estimated to be between $20,000 and $50,000. That's less than a year of the average American's salary, right? You can buy this robot and it can do your job in a world in which AI is accepted, right? This all contingents on people accepting AI, not being terrified of it, thinking that, Skynet's going active. But
like, I get what you're saying, but the problem is, though, it still doesn't give security to Americans or really anybody at all, because we get that the rich guys are going to have advantage of it. We get the cost-cutting advantage to them, but what about us? That's the problem with AI. It does seem like they're advancing AI before they even figure out a question on what to do with us.
So after the whole thing has been done, what to do with us is we stop working for a living and we go do things that we want to do.
But when does that program get like talked about, though? Because like I said, we're already on Tesla robots and self-driving cars. We ain't even talked about that subject yet.
So self-driving cars,
putting the carriage before the horse, because it's like, okay, well, you're definitely putting the advancement of AI and replacing us way before you're thinking about, well, what we're going to do about all these disgruntled Americans or people of the world who's going to get mad that they're not going to profit from them being replaced by AI.
So first of all, Tesla right now is the biggest advancer in self-driving cars, and they are that advancer because of all of the people, i.e., people like you and me, that own that vehicle. So it's not like overnight, when Tesla gets their self-driving car, that everyday people aren't going to be able to be cab drivers anymore. What's going to happen is the people that are cab drivers are going to go out and buy a Model 3 that can do their job for them, and then they're going to buy another one and another one and another one and another one, and so on.
But here's the thing, though. Like, here's the thing, though. That's what we would hope. See, that's pretty much my idea of integrating the worker with AI. That's integration. But if we're talking about AI separation, it would be, Elon pretty much giving a whole bunch of Teslas self-driving already. These
Mhm.
guys have no opportunity to even buy a new Tesla so they can get it on it. No, all these Teslas come just self-operating. You don't need these guys to buy a Tesla. The company just buy all the Teslas, and there you go.
Here's the
Humans
thing:
completely left out.
the company will have to deal with the competition of the millions and millions of people that already own Teslas. It's not like you can just go out there and say, "All right, they're all going to be self-driving," and oh, you poor consumers, yeah, you're not going to get any access to this. It's already set up that way so that it can go online all at once.
Now,
And the people that own them already are going to be early. I mean, they're early adopters already, but early adopters in the self-driving world.
mhm.
I mean, I'm an average person. I own 2 Teslas.
But here's the thing, though.
That's
Why
2
have to
sources of
split
income for me.
costs with a human that has a Tesla when I can just go ahead and buy an AI-driven Tesla from Tesla in wholesale and just leave out everybody? And now
Well,
everybody's
first of all,
driving in my AI-driven Teslas.
Tesla doesn't sell their products wholesale. That's one. 2, again, the market, that like the consumers have already purchased the vehicles. Like, they already have it. So the competition is going to be split up amongst all of the people that already have them. They're going to have a huge head start against companies that want to buy fleets and fleets and fleets of these vehicles. That takes capital, that takes time, that takes, ingenuity and scaling a business based around it, when you're already getting undercut by people that don't need their car, mind you. Like, this is the
But why
example
would
that,
Uber keep somebody that they have to split payments with over somebody they can just buy an AI car with? Like I said, I'm
because
okay
Uber
with
has
the
to buy those
integration,
cars, right? So Uber's whole business model
but
is based
over
off of,
time, though, it's going to pay for itself.
no, no. So it will over time. Again, Uber is behind the time, right?
So how many?
So
So you tell me there's enough people that's willing to just turn their Tesla and do Uber driving when I don't think most Tesla drivers are doing that. Actually,
it's
I
not
don't
a.
think most Uber drivers have a Tesla.
Actually, you'd be surprised. Most Uber drivers actually do have a Tesla.
Nah,
That's
come on, Monty.
no,
Most
seriously.
Uber
You
drivers
get,
do not have a Tesla.
yes,
There's no
yes, they
way.
do. Go,
All right,
like,
there's
in
not way we
these
statistically prove that. There's no way, dog. Most
first.
Tesla drive, most you tell me most Uber drivers or ride shares have a Tesla.
At least a Model 3 or a Model Y. That is the most common Uber vehicle, actually.
I
Because
don't know about
because
that,
yeah,
but
it is, that's a fact of the market right now. The reason for that is because early along, when Uber was rolling out electric vehicles, you could actually get a higher premium for your fares if you had an EV. Like, you get like an extra dollar or something per ride. That's already in that. But I'm going off of what you just said. Why would Uber profit share with anybody? Uber might not want to profit share. Uber might want to go and buy a whole bunch of self-driving cars and do it themselves. However, again, the key word is buy. Uber's business model has been, you bring the car, you bring the work, you bring the knowledge of the routes and everything, and then we'll just give you the customers. Uber has no control over that side of the market right now because they did not stake their investments to begin with. And so here's where it gets better. So Uber, let's say Uber somehow comes up with the trillions of dollars that it would require to compete on a national stage with everybody that owns just a Tesla, because there's other types of self-driving cars. But let's just say that they put that investment in. They're already 5 years behind everybody else that's already done it, right? Can you hear me? You're muted. I can't hear you.
all right. Whoop.
Yeah, you were muted.
Yep. All right, cool. Now, my bad, but I do not think that I'm sorry, but there's like, you'd have to prove that most Tesla drivers are
Most Uber drivers.
Yeah. But all
It is
right,
a
let's move on to the whole topic of what about the labor in these Tesla bots? Now, I remember Vlastin was talking about the singularity, and that is kind of getting close to that singularity to where, well, why would they pay for human labor? And then we're also forgetting about, well, people actually do like to work. And what are people going to do after that? We can't just say that people are going to go ride off into the wind and just take vacations all day.
No, they're not going to take vacations. They're going to do things that make them happy. Like things that require, like, for example, like, for right off the top of my head,
creating things make people happy. Working makes people happy. If AI is doing all that, where's the happiness?
No, working does not make people happy. People have attributed working with a sense of worth because you have to work to live. All I'm saying is that by taking the need to live out of work, like, you work because you have to live, otherwise you die, because that's basic economics and basic common sense. You have to provide the value. You can do things that don't necessarily contribute value to the economy as we see it now, but do contribute value to your life. For example, like, say you want to be a professional swimmer or a professional basketball player. You don't have to worry about the the struggle that comes along with also trying to hone a skill that does not pay you.
Now,
right?
Okay, I get that on the whole hone a skill that doesn't pay you, but what about people who actually want to be doctors? People actually want to be engineers, and all that is taken over by
and
AI.
that those are the jobs that will not be taken away by AI. Humans will not.
What about people who want to be authors and want to write something? AI can do all that.
No, so that's the whole argument, is that you want the humans to do the art and the AI to do the work. We're kind of living in a period right now, because it hasn't completely taken over, that humans are doing the work and AI is doing the art to entertain the humans. When it comes to a point where AI is doing all the producing of the dirty, dangerous, and boring jobs, then humans are going to start moving away from those jobs into higher skilled jobs. It's going to be a slow, gradual cascade, right? Like, eventually it's going to be the fast food workers. Those jobs are going to get replaced by AI because they don't need to be done by humans anymore, right? Those same people are either one of two things. They're going to go enter a trade instead of working at McDonald's and being stuck at a dead-end job. They're going to go work a trade and be valuable until their job gets replaced, right? And or they're going to go to school and be like, hey, I want to educate myself. I need
being taught by an AI.
They're not going to be being taught by an AI. Like, there's levels to this, right? You're not just going to go out and replace every single job right now with AI.
But
you're going to replace
the problem, though. That's everybody's fear. That's where the disagreement of AI comes in, is this fear of the singularity, where most of the people don't benefit, and it's only a select few corporate elites.
It's not going to be a select few. Corporations are going to benefit. They have the most invested into everything anyway. They're going to benefit, yes, but it's not going to be on such a scale that everybody's job is just going to be gone tomorrow. You realize there's 340 million Americans in America?
I would say it like this. I'm okay with the integration. Like, I was okay with the Neuralink chip and that advancing humans, so where we are able to do these surgeries better and all that. If we can incorporate AI with us, where you don't got to replace the body, then I'm okay with it. But when we have to replace the whole human, I do believe that does take away.
Most of our market, I hate to say it, is consumer goods, and most of our consumer goods come from slave labor countries.
Good point.
Right? So all of these countries that are profiting off of slave labor, now we're also talking about shifting jobs and manufacturing back to the US. I don't see this whole, re-industrial revolution that everybody's fantasizing about. I see an industrial revolution based off of AI, where all of our products are still made domestically, but the problem of, an iPhone would be $3,500. Well, no, it won't, because Optimus is making it. You have the same level of child labor, so to say, the same slave labor, but it's not an ethical issue anymore. Now it's being done, and you can still go purchase an iPhone for what you could purchase it before.
Now,
you don't have to take the tariffs. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff.
Honest with you, the only way I could see this working to where we don't have a bunch of Americans out of the job is that if we kind of shift education towards, AI engineering, machine learning, machine repair, it does kind of seem we need a whole, I would say a whole job market shift at a certain point.
Yes,
Like,
you're
it would be
absolutely
literally
right. There will be.
useless to tell your kid to go into anything but STEM.
I mean, that's a good thing, is it not? For more people to be smart.
I mean, not. Here's the thing. I mean, due to the average IQ, how do you think that's going to work out?
Here's the thing, though. You don't necessarily have to be smart and go into STEM. There's also the other option of just doing something that you like doing.
Now, how much people actually want to do STEM? We'd have to ask. There's a very small amount of people, so a very small amount of people might be left out and might be left to just die out
No,
on the workforce.
they're not going to
And
be.
those
They're
are
not
the
going to be
people.
left out. Those are the
Mhm.
people that are not going to be doing STEM and are going to be doing things like making entertainment and doing things that provide other forms of non-monetarily assessed value in the economy that we have right now. You have to completely get rid of the idea of the economy that we have right now and move more towards um a world in which money does not mean the same thing as it meant 15 years ago. I'm talking about 15, 20 years in the future, right?
Okay.
So it's a completely nuanced and novel idea to grasp because we've never been in that situation before.
All right, now, but
Right.
there's one question that I think you haven't answered yet. It is that how do we benefit from AI and not just the corporate elites? Like, how, because you just give me all, well, we save time, but that
Mhm.
ain't putting money in our pockets. That's putting money in
No,
their pockets.
time is the ultimate currency. You trade your time for money, right?
Now, but if the if the AI takes your job, then you're pretty much just gonna be wasting your time.
The AI doesn't take your jobs. You own the robot that you go lease to the company until the company can get the large amounts of capital that they need, right? So it's a slow transition from the worker owning the robot and leasing it to the company. That's how you get your money. That's the To answer that question. You go out, you spend $50,000 and you lease it to the company. You
So I
say,
buy a
"Hey,
Tesla robot and I send my Tesla robot out to work.
yes, that's how it will happen at first because it takes time to integrate large numbers of machines like this, right?
Mhm.
Like you can't just do it overnight. Like, have you ever seen a company that just completely gets a whole new fleet of cars, a whole new fleet of equipment all at once? No, you haven't because it
No,
doesn't
it
happen
comes
like
in
that.
pieces, of course.
Exactly. So the piece at first is going to be, hey, I'm going to go send my robot to work for me. Oh, wait, I can afford another robot. I'm going to go get a second job
But
and
how many
send the.
Americans are going to be able to afford that when most Americans can't afford that 50K? That's like most
If
Americans
you
making that. So not every American is going to have that luxury, to be honest, and they're going to be left out. It does seem like AI is going to choose its winners, and it's not going to be majority of the people.
Well, I mean, if you live in an economy that is rapidly changing and you don't do anything to better yourself, you're going to get left behind. That's what I'm trying to express is you don't just leave yourself in a position to get left behind and have nothing. Take a piece of it now while you get to control how it goes. If you're not in the game, you don't get to control how the game goes.
And that's going to be majority of Americans or majority of the people.
Well, I mean, that is the issue. It's the same issue that we had with the .com boom. It's the
But
same
that's the
issue
thing.
we had with cell phones.
But I think that's going to be way worse though, because that's where we're going to have people that really can't get their job. At least we could work, we can integrate with .com. We was able to integrate with a lot of these new technology. This is the first
Mhm.
time where we're having technology that operates independent of us. That's the problem.
How is that a problem? That like, do you really want to be the person that stuck for 20 years working at McDonald's, or do
No,
you
but I'd
want to
rather
have
be
the
the
opportunity?
person doing all the engineering to give all the new technology, do all the new coding to push these apps. I rather humans do that, to be quite honest. I get that
Exactly.
this makes it really easy with AI, but that does like what's the point of going to school? What's the point of going through the boot camp if I could just hop on Chat GPT, go to an interviewer and be
Because
like,
you
look,
still
here's
have
my
to
work.
you still have to learn interpersonal communication. You still have to learn how to be a human. Like
I
you're
mean,
not just born with that innate ability to be social and to understand nuances and stuff. Like
Monty,
you
they're
still
sending emails that sound human to bosses, to
that doesn't
CEOs.
right. That's misuse of AI right now. That is a world in which we don't have this structure built into it. We're not in that world right now. So all you're seeing is AI that's being used, like it's stagnant and it does not have its full potential to be able to be used. So that's what you're seeing right now. I am talking about a world in which these problems are already sorted out. Like it's not hard to sort these problems out. Like what humans want to do with all the extra time they have is a small factor in the
I
grand scheme
rather
of things.
I rather this. I think we're going in the wrong direction with this.
Mhm.
Instead of having a Tesla bot, we should have some type of like integrated human technology that can go into your body. You're stronger, you're fitter, your spine is more aligned, you can live better, all that good stuff. It should be human integrated and not dependent of humans.
So you want humans to be the slaves?
I'd rather be integrated with AI bots that allow us to do more fantastic things that can push us into more of those STEM jobs.
Right. So the jobs that are initially going to be taken away are not going to be jobs. That's going to be the oh, we're getting rid of all these Mexicans. Who's going to pick our fruit? That's going to be the first job.
And I don't want to make such a moralistic, argument, but I mean, then what's the purpose at that point of life? I mean,
But I just gave it to you. Like
to go
again,
out,
you
here's the
have
thing,
to.
like without no struggle, what is life then at that point?
You can create struggle for yourself. You can create obstacles to get over.
What do
Like
you mean? No, I don't. Like if I got to struggle to do this art project and if I don't make it out, I don't get the 50K, or I could just, it's all good. AI done run everything. I get money regardless. What do I really need to finish this for?
no, that's not. You're thinking about it wrong. You're thinking about it in a world in which you have to live so that you can go be a work. So you can go be a slave for somebody. That's the world in which we live right now. That's why it's so hard to disassociate work and production from human self-worth. Human self-worth comes in many, many different ways.
I
Whatever
mean,
makes you feel successful is what you get to be the determining factor in that. And I guarantee you, someone working at Taco Bell is not that's not their pinnacle potential.
of course, of course. But what would be the point of reaching his pinnacle potential if all the jobs he wanted to do is now ran by AI?
Because those are the jobs that waste our time.
No, whoa, 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 not all way. Oh, I mean, coding. I get it.
No,
Yeah,
coding, no. Coding is one of those jobs that you would go aspire to do. I
but
mean,
why would
until
they
you
do it
don't,
if AI could do it? And there's a whole bunch. And I mean, you kind of
because
get where I'm getting here. What's the point of
you still have to
inspiring to
be,
do stuff
you still
if you
have to
got
have
AI
the
right there?
idea. AI cannot have an idea and go do something without a human saying, "Oh, I have this idea. Let's make this a thing."
Yeah, but it can give a concept, and that's the thing. Us humans are used to giving out our concepts and actualizing those concepts. When we take out the actualizing of the concept, I think we are taking away something precious away from humanity, to be quite honest.
So then you just pivot to something else. Like it's not that big of a deal.
I
So
mean, people's passion is their passion.
right, people's passion is what the world, like the category that they happen to fall into when they got out of grade school, and that's what they've chased their entire life. That doesn't mean that it's a complete waste of time to have somebody that has a tool that can do it faster and more efficiently than you.
Hmm.
Does that
All
make
right.
sense?
I know. I hear your point on that one. I do hear your point. But all right,
Right.
and I get
So
yeah.
just because you're doing something
Mhm.
that needs to be done right now in this economy by a human does not mean that it's so irreplaceable that you should hold on to dear life like you can't do anything else with it.
Yeah, but
Like,
I don't think that we should just assume that people don't want to do their jobs and just have AI replace it and be like, well, sorry, go do something else. And what the truck was like, dog, that was like my mental therapy. I like being on the road. Well, it's too bad, bro. We got AI for that. Go figure
well,
something else out.
you can still be on the road. You can go drive down the road. Like
Why
nothing's
would they
stopping you.
hire you when they got AI who ain't gonna
You
crash?
you're not going to hire. But you're missing the point, right? Your mental therapy is driving down the road. You don't have to be attached to 80,000 pounds to have mental therapy. You can get in a car and drive down the road.
I mean, come on now. This is people who like driving. You gotta understand that.
Right, they like driving, so get in a car and go drive. You don't have to be driving an 18-wheeler to get your mental therapy.
Hmm. I mean, hey, now, but to get money, to have some type of purpose, to get out the house.
And
I
that's my
mean,
that's my second point in all of this. When it
right.
gets to that point, money is going to be irrelevant. It's not like you, in order for supply and demand and economics to work, you have to have a producer and a buyer, right? If you have a producer that works for absolutely nothing, i.e. robots, producing consumer goods, which is 70% of our economy, is consumer goods, things that factory work and, McDonald's and, working at a restaurant, there there are places in which, the more exquisite,
And now, hold on. Now,
ref-
if money's irrelevant, and then what are we doing then at that point? Like I said, doesn't it kind of, you do kind of sound like you're going more towards a AI led society where, well, everything's done by AI, and we just, well,
not
right off into the
not
winds with our
everything.
fantasies.
So it's not completely on or completely off. It's not everything is done by AI. The things that do not give purpose to somebody's life will be done by AI, because those are the meaningless
I
fucking
mean,
manual.
Monty, people are writing that gives purpose to people's lives, and AI
Right.
can do
So
that.
they can go right. That's what I'm saying. You
But
free
how
up the
could they
fast
ever
food work.
aspire
No,
to
no,
be
no.
what they
Stop,
want to
stop.
be if AI is writing better? Okay, my bad.
You free up the fast food worker so that the fast food worker can go write the next Harry Potter series. You free up the person that's working on the assembly line in Detroit, not that there's many left of those, to go, you know, invent some new engineering feat. That's what freeing up your time actually does. Now the people that have the bright minds that are stuck in those jobs, they're going to rise up and they're going to make good things for our society. The people that, they were lazy, not lazy, intellectually lazy, and didn't want to do anything anyway, they don't have to do anything because they don't need to work to live.
I get that, but that's what I'm saying. That's where I think it, it definitely
And
does
that's
take
when they
something. I don't
that's
know. I
when
think
they
it takes away from the human experience at that point. If
so
we can just allow people to ride off into the wind with no consequences and just be lazy bastards and sit there and don't do nothing.
Okay. Seth, what do you work outside of YouTube, right?
Yeah, of course.
What do you do for work, if you don't mind me asking?
Let's just say I plug in cables.
Oh, you're an electrician? Or you work for Comcast or something?
Data center.
Data center. Oh shit. Okay. So let's say tomorrow your job is gone,
Mm-hmm.
right? Your
Because
your
those
job
damn
is
AI robots is plugging in those damn wires and running
Yep,
the
exactly.
recovery. Well, sorry, but
So
the
let's just work in
recovery
this
code.
hypothetical for a second, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you also have another passion, which is YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Now all of your time, because you're not stuck working for a living, because also the good with the bad is, yeah, you don't have that job anymore because a robot's doing it, but you also don't have to worry about paying for your groceries, because why? A robot's picking the fruit. There's no human labor that goes into any of that.
But I
So
feel like
you
that's gonna dull your mind. Like it's already doing now. Like AI is already making people stupid already. They're all like, don't you think I'm be missing out on social life? Two, I'm be missing out on interacting with these things. Like I won't even
but
let's say that AI decides to lie to me about this stuff, and because I've just been so far away from it,
Mhm.
now what? So like I said,
AI doesn't decide to lie about things. That's a very, very common misconception about AI. AI does not do anything unless it's prompted, right?
mm, I
It doesn't.
mean, it could be pretty biased. But
It
if you're
it can't.
talking about the
But you're
building
talking
of code and
you're
all that, okay, I
yeah,
will give you that one.
you're talking about a language learning model that's programmed to have opinions. I'm talking about actual artificial intelligence and algorithms that do things and robots that do things. Now, let's go back to the example. Your job is gone. Now you can focus as much time as you want on YouTube. Say you don't want to work, mid shift. You want to wake up in the morning like everybody else. Now
Yeah, but
you
what makes me this YouTuber is my
Mhm.
life that I live outside of it, though. Like this is how I bring the human experience that I live, that other people
Yeah.
live, and like this is how
Well,
I
you're
can
not
like relate to the people. If I'm just inside all day, how can I relate to you guys?
you're not going to just stream for 24 hours. You're going to go out and do things, decide that you want to go out and fucking ride go-karts for the afternoon or do whatever for the afternoon. That is what the world in which you'll live in, not, oh shit, I have to go to work. I wanted to spend, 3 hours chopping together videos and getting them ready for the stream tonight, but I don't have that time. That's what getting your time back means. It doesn't mean you just go and, well, I got nothing to do, I'm just going to sit on the couch and fucking wait until my other hobby pops up. You're going to spend your time because humans are naturally curious and naturally want to do things, right?
Yeah, but I think that's the whole part of the human experience is you working and earning back your time. This is where I think that AI is going to create a lot of lazy and self-entitled people at the end of the day. I honestly don't think it's going to be even good for human character.
I mean, the character can be developed. We have put a lot of emphasis on, oh, if you don't work hard and don't bust your ass and don't, have heart disease because you worry yourself to death your whole life, you don't have good character. You can have good character and not have to bust your knuckles on fucking everyday tasks, right? You can know how to do these things and be self-sufficient. You can choose to be that way, right? But that doesn't mean that your character is somehow eroded. Like that's like saying, unless you work on an oil rig, you don't know what real work is. But that argument is old and tired, and it there's many different ways to exude confidence and exude, self-worth other than clocking in every Monday and going to, 40 hours of hell.
Now, okay, and I said, okay, I can agree with you on that one. But like I said, though, you still really haven't answered the finance of AI and how we're not going to just get tossed in the back there, and how we're
So
because, like I said, you keep saying that. All right, well, everybody will go towards more skilled work, which means we still have
mhm,
to work, and everybody won't just be able to run off into the sunset and not do
at
anything. They're still
first,
going to have to do something.
at first.
And then you haven't really explained how money would become useless.
So money becomes useless again because, like I said, if there's no one buying things, like if everybody that's producing things gets replaced by robots, right? Let's just say every job, for example, every job that we
And
know
how do
of
you
that you
earn
can.
money if you're just out there living your life? Like,
Exactly.
what's going on?
So why do you need money?
To purchase things, to have a
Right.
lifestyle, of course.
Okay. So who sets the price of things?
Usually,
The person
the
selling
seller.
it, right? So if there's nobody that can afford to buy anything, like every job, any way to produce money has been taken away from you. How do you get money to go buy things?
I'm sorry, rephrase that. I'm sorry, say that one again.
So if every
Mhm.
opportunity you have to make quote unquote money or
Yeah.
currency is taken away from you, what have you just done? You've just taken it so that no one can buy anything anymore. Right? So
Yeah.
at that point, money is worthless. That's what I mean by money is worthless, because you need supply and demand for an economy to keep going cyclically.
So wouldn't that pretty much destroy what we're kind of running on now?
Yes, it will. That's my point. You have to completely absolve yourself of that way of thinking, because that's the direction it's going in.
Then wouldn't that be a net negative?
No, that would not be a net negative. All that means is that money is not attached to your value anymore. Or humans do not need to create value unless they want to create value, but still can get value out of society, because there's nothing that dictates, oh, you didn't put enough work in, so you don't get to eat this year.
Mm, I hear you on that one. I can hear you on that
Right?
one. It's just I'm still not kind of seeing where. Okay, so if money becomes useless,
Hmm.
then what are we doing here? Like, what's going on? We don't have the
Not
need to
not
buy
everything
anything.
revolves around
Or
money.
what?
Not everything revolves. I mean, I think
Well, I mean, to set
everybody's.
up AI, we need money. So, I mean, when does that branch off?
So it branches off when most of the quote unquote production, the 70% of consumer goods that's being produced, gets replaced by AI. That's when money no longer matters. Consumer goods, i.e., things that you go and buy. That's
So,
that's when.
okay, so we're just pretty much going to be walking into the store because AI runs and we're just going to be filling up the carts.
Yeah, you say, all right, what do I want for this week? Or You don't even walk into the store because that takes time from you.
Oh
The
yeah, people.
AI
Yeah.
the AI self-driving car with the AI robot comes and brings your groceries to you. Or you don't even subscribe to that. You just go out and you garden because you have all this fucking time now and you sustain
Like
yourself.
Monty, you ever seen the movie Wall-E?
Yes, I've seen Wall-E.
That's exactly what this sounds like. I'm be honest with you.
That's because
That's what I'm imagining right now. So maybe I'm imagining the wrong
that's
thing.
all that humans can imagine because that's all our media has put into it. Like, have you ever heard the
Maybe they
example
was
that
cooking with that though.
no, they weren't. That's a horrible that takes all of the motivation to do anything away. That's saying that's the argument that I'm trying to get you away from is that humans are not just going to sit on their fucking hover chair and be lazy and stay on their phone all day
It's
because
either that or we don't have enough jobs and they just try to overthrow the government or the
you
AI
don't need
technocrats.
you don't need jobs. You at that point you do not need jobs. You have a job is going to be what you decide it is. So if it's I want to be a world-renowned chess player and I'm going to put all my time and energy into playing chess, that you can obviously do other things, right? You don't just have to be like a Chinese kid and from the age of 4 you're going to be a talented kid. You can do whatever the hell you want because it does not matter. All that matters now is competition of ideas.
Mm,
Does that make
competition
sense?
of yeah, I hear you on that one. It's just that the whole like where does our competition of ideas come in if we let AI get too far?
So you don't let it get too far. You let it do the things that you don't want to do.
All right. Well, then I'm gonna be real with you. We are gonna have to regulate AI in some
Yes.
way, shape, or form. We can't let it reach that singularity then.
No, you can't. You okay.
I don't think we should let AI reach the singularity of where money is useless then.
Why not?
I'm honestly, I don't think we have a good. That's where we're getting into the world of Wally. Honestly, that's where like, what are we honestly doing? We're just sitting around taking in information, not producing anything. It's like we literally stop creating. And I'm be
You don't
honest, this
stop.
may sound
No.
effed
There's a
up.
different set. So
Yeah.
there's a difference between producing and creating. People create things that need to be produced. That's where your brain and urge to figure things out, that's where that gets stimulated. That's where people can spend all of their time, not just this is a side project that I'm doing in my garage because I can't afford anything. This is go get anything you want to do to run your experiments, to run your thoughts, and now you've created something. Okay, boom, everybody should have this. Okay, AI, go produce this 1,000 fucking times and see if this is something people want. Right? Those people will still exist, and that's going to be their thing. That's going to be what they want to do. They're going to naturally fall into that,
All right.
not
So
because they have to, but because they want to. And when you do something because you want to do it, not because you have to do it, you do it 1,000 times better.
I don't know about that one. But I
What
guess
do
we're
you
gonna have
mean?
I just don't know, Monty. I don't know.
Okay.
I just can't see it.
Have you okay? Perfect example. Do you like a nice car, like a nice clean car?
Of course.
Okay, so when you were a kid, and your parents told you to go clean your room, what did you do? You went and go clean. You did your room so that you could get your parents okay, so that you could go do what you actually wanted to do. But now, as an adult, you want a nice clean car, so you're going to go out and you're going to spend your time and make it right, not just half-ass it because you have to do it. You're wanting to do it, right?
All right. Now hold on, Monty. Hold on here. I want you to take it from like this. How would a
Mhm.
young man survive in this new AI world? How would he achieve excellency if everything is being done by AI? If all the
Not
things that he
everything.
has to
Okay,
work for is
production
low-key being
is
like
done. Production. You're going from what I'm saying about production,
production
and
is
you're
also
applying.
creativity, though.
No, it's not.
People try
Creation.
creative ways to be productive. It's the whole thing of the supply chain management.
So you create something that needs to be produced. Those are two different definitions. Your idea and your imagination creates the things that need to be produced.
And also creates the structure on how to produce things.
You can. I mean, how it gets produced too is another like logistical thing. You would have to take that on as a responsibility of someone that wants to create something, but you're going to want to figure out how to do it anyway because you want to do it, not because you have to do it. Again.
Okay. Well, look, I hear you on the whole. You like the guy's gonna go out there and do what they want to do, but here's the thing: we haven't tested that drive with AI. To be honest with you, just like the first generation of kids, we're gonna see if what you're saying is gonna happen. If they're gonna have that drive to push further. I mean, without AI, we're the generation that got to AI. We're the ones who's really pushing it forward. So this is where our ingenuity, this is where our machine learning and our sitting down and not having AI, this is where this got us to. Who knows how this is going to affect the next generation?
We naturally create things that can eventually do our jobs for us. We create easier ways to do things. That's what humans do. Why do we create easier ways to do things? Because we want to get to doing what we actually want to do. Now that you've created the way to do all of the things so you can do all of the things you want to do, now you've reached the point in which society will grow, like the knowledge of society will grow exponentially as fast. Because the person, oh, that was always a smart kid, but he never really amounted to anything, that will never exist again.
I don't know. I think it will. I mean, why wouldn't it? I mean, the smart kid, what is he going to amount to?
He's going to be the next person that creates fucking nuclear fission, or sorry, cold fusion.
I mean, AI is already running those calculations. They might get it before him.
They might, but there's always another problem to be solved, right? And now, if you're just not that person and you don't have the drive to go solve complex problems, you don't have to go solve those complex problems. I'm not saying everybody's going to be a fucking bunch of eggheads and running calculations all day long. It's going to be, you have to think of it like
I don't know. I feel like we're literally trying to take the purpose out of people's lives. We got them go sitting home and they can't advance. Let's say that, all right, we found a way to kind of make money useless. These guys are just sitting at home drugging and drinking because they ain't got nothing to do.
So there's always that's the thing. So what's the biggest inhibition on going to do something?
Usually money.
Exactly. So now I have this idea. Maybe I'm high as shit, because I'm completely worthless and have just let AI run everything, right? Well, let's say in my drunken stupor, I'm like, you know what? I'd really love to create this thing. Well, money's not stopping me from doing it anymore, and I'm gonna go put time and effort and something because I have nothing but time, right? You have nothing. You have nothing but time in this scenario.
I don't also think that it plays into human nature. Let's be brutal about human nature, guy. I mean, we like hierarchy, and AI would probably take out this hierarchy. It is kind of like a socialist idea where everybody's equal, and AI, without integration, without of having some type of independent way to make ourselves better than the next guy who isn't willing to work hard, this will take purpose away from a lot of people.
So if you need a hierarchy to define your purpose, then you're going to be like that. I mean, I don't think that's what drives your purpose. I think what drives your purpose is living
throughout time. It's always been about a hierarchy. Is that guy being the best, better than the next guy.
Right, exactly. So that guy being the best can apply to anything now. Anything. That guy being the best, insert it to any situation. I'm going to be the best at fucking underwater basket weaving. Cool. That's what drives people. You just said that, right? The desire to be better than somebody else. There's still going to be people that are better than other people, but they're going to spend their whole life trying to be good at that thing, whatever that thing is. It doesn't have to be, a star mathematician that can figure out string theory. It could be someone that just is really good at fucking putting Legos together, or really good at painting, or really good at fucking mowing grass for whatever fucking reason. I don't know.
I think the main problem with your AI argument is hard to conceptualize what the economy will look like.
Because we've never lived in a world like that. We're on the precipice of living in a world like that, and we never have. That's the same reason that when you go to sleep and you dream, and in your dream you're falling and you never die because your brain can't conceptualize it because it's never happened to you. This has never happened in all of human existence, so all of our wiring is like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. This can't happen. It absolutely can happen when you have sustainable abundance, i.e., there's abundance for everybody, because no human, like, the scarcity on everything is based off of how much humans go work to go extract value. If humans aren't extracting the value and robots are going to extract the value, then you have sustainable abundance. From the iron turning into a car, every single part of that is run by an AI, with a human saying, "Oh, this is what I want the car to look like," because I'm the guy that gets to design cars, right?
I mean, possibly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that you get rid of a world in which you have workers and you have more innovators. Everybody becomes an innovator, or if they don't want to be an innovator, they just sit back and fucking go play chess. Like I said, I'm using chess as an example because it requires intellect and it requires honing your skill, or it could be anything. It could be fucking building shit out of Play-Doh, for all I like. It doesn't matter, right? You're going to create niches in the world in which people go do things that they want to do, because they don't have to worry about, if I don't do good, I'm going to die because I'm not going to be able to eat.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's one of the beautiful things about life, to be quite honest with you. You know, Buddha did say we have to suffer, and that's the only way to truly experience life. But that is outside of the argument. To make a more logical argument.
Yeah. That's what our religion, that's what our whole value system is being structured around right now, because we cannot imagine a world in which, like, the consequences of not being great is starvation.
And maybe that's for a reason, but we'll go ahead and leave it off on that one.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't gonna lie, that was definitely a good one. We done went at it for at least a good hour.
Oh, we did? Oh, shoot.
Yeah. Whole hour.
I've been trying to nail you down on this one. I like, just do me a favor. Think about it. Think about a world in which there is no competition for resources, but there's now competition for greatness.
All right, I'll give it some thought. I'll run it through some simulation scenarios here, because I don't know if we can make it a way where it just doesn't doom humanity, or it just doesn't leave humanity out there on a limb. Like, oh well, we have all these AI jobs and you guys are off there to the side. Oh well, then I can get down with it.
That's what I want to avoid, is us becoming slaves to mega corporations. I want to make the people that are billionaires and trillionaires worthless. That's what I'm going for. And I would think that most liberals would agree with that. Eat the rich, fuck them, right? Take their
Problem
ability.
with that is that we're not sure if it's going to eat the rich. I mean, that may be how the rich eats us.
Right, but as we are the populace, we outnumber these people, and this is the only fair fight we're ever going to see in our lifetimes.
All right. Well, all right, now let's get back to the EPA arguments here on the climate change. I did want to get into this climate change topic, and I do have this one doctor, shout out this man, Dr. Soon, on debunking this whole climate change agenda. But first, let's get into the EPA director.
It's called the endangerment finding. It's a landmark scientific determination that planet warming pollution from fossil fuels endangers human health. And since 2009, it's formed the bedrock for the EPA's ability to regulate greenhouse gas emissions. But that's set to all change after the Trump administration announced plans to reverse that ruling, effectively gutting the federal government's ability to combat climate change. Joining me now is EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin, who has been traveling the country in part to promote this move. Mr. Administrator, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate your time. I do want to start with the fundamental question that's at the heart of all this. I mean, do you accept the overwhelming scientific consensus that these greenhouse gas emissions are the biggest drivers of man-made climate change?
First, it's worth pointing out that all 8 or so images that you just posted on the screen have nothing to do with this week's announcement. What was the 2009 endangerment finding had to do with was with regards to mobile sources vehicles. This week's proposal to rescind the 2009 endangerment finding was with regards to mobile sources, vehicles. CNN's been using a lot of photos where they show smokestacks of stationary sources like power plants. That's not what we proposed. Now, going back to 2009, the science that they were reviewing included both optimistic to pessimistic scenarios. To reach the 2009 endangerment finding, they relied on the most pessimistic views of the science. The great news is that a lot of the pessimistic views of the science in 2009 that was being assumed ended up not panning out. Hey, that's great. We can rely on 2025 facts as opposed to 2009 bad assumptions. The other thing, too, is that at EPA, we don't just get to creatively make the law whatever we want it to be. The Supreme Court ruled in Loper Bright, overturning the Chevron doctrine, West Virginia versus EPA, Michigan versus EPA, that agencies like the EPA can't just use vague language in statute and try to make it be whatever we want it to be. The major policy doctrine also says that when you're going to reach something like an endangerment finding and then have trillions of dollars of regulation, that's something that should be decided by our elected members of Congress in passing statute. And if you don't mind, the 2009 endangerment finding, while it's simply summed up now as saying carbon dioxide endangers public health and welfare, that's not what they did back in 2009. They had a lot of mental leaps. They say carbon dioxide, when mixed with a whole bunch of other well-mixed gases, in some cases not even emitted from mobile sources, they say that it contributes to global climate change. Doesn't say causes, contributes. How much they don't say, but it's north of zero, not much more than zero.
So you're sounding pretty
global
skeptical then
change
of this overall scientific consensus that these greenhouse gas emissions are the overwhelming man-made climate change driver.
That might be your way to try to twist my words, but what I'm saying is that we get our power at EPA from what the law states, and the Supreme Court in recent cases have been very clear. So what I was just describing with all the mental leaps used in the 2009 endangerment finding, Section 202 of the Clean Air Act doesn't allow all of these different mental leaps, as the Supreme Court made clear in recent years. So I'm not going to get creative.
So this is the same argument that's being made about the ATF right now. Is the EPA enforces laws that exist. They do not go and interpret a law to create another proxy law and then prosecute based off of that. That's what we're trying to get. That's what we mean by like smaller government and not giving control to bureaucrats that aren't elected. But that's what the EPA has run away with. It's one of the bigger offenders, but so is the ATF. They create laws by proxy by citing other laws and interpreting them.
I mean, yeah, and also having their own little agenda to run away with.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Here's the thing: I guess they have the science to back it up as well.
No, they don't have the science. They're in an echo chamber.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. That's the problem.
Creative with the law. We're going to read the plain language. And if Section 202 of the Clean Air Act gets amended by Congress, then we'll follow that new law.
So, sir, first of all, I don't want to put words in your mouth or twist your words or anything like that. I just was trying to clarify kind of where you were coming down on my initial question. And I will say that you, as the Trump-appointed EPA administrator, you sound a lot different from the member of Congress. And I, of course, covered you when you were in Congress. But back in 2016, here's what you had to say about climate change broadly. Let's watch.
Our climate is changing. We need to do more to be better stewards of the air, the land, our water. The key is to reduce our reliance on fossil fuels, to become more environmentally friendly and pursue alternative energy, clean and green energy.
What's changed for you?
Nothing. The climate has always been changing. We should not be relying on all these foreign sources of energy. We should be unleashing energy dominance here in this country. We do it better for our environment than so many other countries do for theirs and for the rest of the world. It's better for our economy, our national security, and our environment. And I'll tell you, over the course of my first 6 months on this job, the announcement that I enjoyed putting out the most was on the 100th day of President Trump's term in office. We released 100 environmental accomplishments that we did in those first 100 days. We're very proud of our historic wildfire cleanup in Los Angeles. We increased water quality standards in Southeast Pennsylvania and into Delaware along the Delaware River Basin. Just last week, I was in Mexico City announcing an international agreement with Mexico to advance a permanent 100% solution to resolve the Tijuana River raw sewage crisis that's been plaguing millions of Southern California residents for decades. And that is a pace that motivates us to keep up. We are very
Seth,
proud of all of the accomplishments.
Raw sewage.
think about these are the issues that we can leave to AI to solve. Things like that. Things that do not require fucking mass amounts of thought. It's just a fix it this way.
You sure we don't need a hands-on problem on that one?
Yeah, you do need a hands-on problem. That's why I say AI can't replace us. Like you say, hey, I have all of these variables and these are the solutions I'm thinking of. Run this like Doctor Strange, see all the different scenarios and tell me which one's going to be the best, and that's what I'm going to do.
Okay, yeah. AI definitely can do that for you, which is I'm not mad at.
As you pointed out, I'm currently traveling around New England, visiting Superfund sites that are getting cleaned up. And EPA, over the course of years and decades, has been doing an amazing job as it relates to the Superfund cleanup and the brownfield cleanup. We're advancing cooperative federalism and getting state implementation plans done. We're getting through our backlog. We inherited a pesticide review, a new chemical review. There are amazing, dedicated employees at this agency all across this entire country doing important work, and we're very proud of that work, and we're going to continue to keep that pace up.
So one way that you have defended the change you want to make in terms of the endangerment finding and saying that the government's not going to regulate carbon dioxide fundamentally is to say that this is going to help consumers save money, basically pay less for their cars. My question to you, though, is what do you say to people who live in a state like Florida? Farmers insurance has pulled out of Florida entirely. State Farm basically threatened to. It's getting harder and harder for people to get insurance at all, let alone pay for it. People that have insurance, it's so much more expensive. How is this policy, this change that you're making, going to help those people?
Well, a few things. First off, as you look at the 2009 endangerment finding, and I referenced that it was to combat global climate change, that was their justification. What EPA had done previously under Section 202 was to look at local and regional impacts. The problem for EPA in 2009 was that they didn't have the science to be able to reach that justification. That's why they had to expand it to this new approach of combating global climate change. We have first, and I would also point out that what we put out this week is a proposal. We're now going out to public comment. We'll make a final decision after that public comment. Now, as far as the National Flood Insurance Program and congressional debates and votes, that's something for members of Congress to talk about how to fund insurance programs. As it relates to carbon dioxide, I think it's important for people to note that there has been a greening of the planet that's been taking place. It's important to note that emissions have been down. And part of your question was also with regards to the amount of money that's being saved. We at the Trump administration promote consumer choice. We don't believe that states and the federal government should be advancing any form of an electric vehicle mandate. This proposal, on top of a proposal to rescind the 2009 endangerment finding, is a proposal to rescind the greenhouse gas.
I'm so tired of hearing that fucking federal EV mandate. It does not exist. It has never existed. There has never been a law or anything that says we're going to stop making gas vehicles by X date. It is outdated. It is something that the Trump administration has used as a dog whistle to the far right and to people that honestly just do not understand. There are states like California that has put goals out for not having any gas vehicles by 2035, but that is a state. There is no nationwide anything in any sense of the word, form of the word, anything. But even the Green New Deal did not put it. It said, "Hey, we
I
want
think
to
that was
put.
Kamala Harris's like one of her campaign pledges. Honestly,
Yeah, I
thought it
don't
was
think
straight from her.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was
Huh.
push towards these technologies because we've kind of gone through a pendulum swing of, oh, the Democrats of 20 years ago, or 10 probably 10 15 years ago, were talking about EV mandates when the Chevy Bolt came out. Like, oh, we fixed it. Everybody should make cars like this, and we should never do anything like that. That was an idea that was proposed, but that has never existed. So talking about how you're going to repeal the EV mandate, you're just lying. There is no EV mandate. It's never existed.
Hmm. I mean, let's see. EV policy, infrastructure. Let's see here now. I'll look into a little bit more.
There
'Cause,
have been policies to support EV growth in the United States, the same way there's policy to support the drilling of oil. And if you wanna bitch and moan so hard about EVs, then maybe you should take a look at Texas and stop giving them federal dollars then.
oh, all right.
Emissions on vehicles that followed light, medium, and heavy duty, and the off-cycle credits like the incentives for the hated start-stop feature and other aspects that we've heard from America.
But no, yeah, Monty is right. The U.S. has never had a law requiring customers to buy electric vehicles. Federal policies under President Biden, like targets for EVs to make up 50% of new car sales by 2030, were not
Targets.
binding goals.
Yeah. So they're goals that the government has set forward, but they are not. You can't get a gas car because we're not going to let anybody build them. That's how they're phrasing it, and it's not true. And
yeah, it's pretty much like some states have enacted a binding mandate requiring automakers to sell rising percentage of zero emission vehicles, not mandating it, but pretty much asking them to sell more or make more of it.
Make it more affordable. How can we make it more accessible to the average person? That's what they've gone after. And honestly, I not for the climate, because I believe climate change, fucking global warming, all this shit. It's just a scam created by companies to perpetuate a product, right? I completely disallow myself to even go down that road. Where I see the value in EVs is with things being run on electricity or things that are just a dime a dozen. Your cost of transporting things, your cost of building this country up goes way down, because one of the biggest drivers of cost next to labor is fuel.
I mean, now you look, you're not wrong. I'll give you that one. I like the explanation on that. So, and by the way, shout out Monty.
Americans from across this country. So there's a lot that goes into it. We're going through a public comment period. We want to make the right decision afterwards. But for people who want to sum up the 2009 endangerment finding, as if they studied carbon dioxide as an endangerment on human health.
I want to bring us back here, though, to the present day, because a lot's changed since 2009. Do you think the federal government should have a role in trying to combat climate change?
It's a great question, and I'm at the EPA and running an agency. The Supreme Court made it very clear that I have to follow the law. I have to follow the plain language of the law, and I can't get creative. I don't get to just make up the law. Just because a predecessor decided to fill in vague language in the law to do many mental leaps to try to justify an electric vehicle mandate and trillions of dollars of regulation to strangulate out of existence entire sectors of our energy economy. You were posting earlier a whole bunch of photos of stationary sources. Well, the Biden administration did do a whole bunch of regulations to try to make, for example, the coal industry get regulated out of existence. There are people out there who like wind. I come from a state where the governor says that New York is a substitute for baseload power. It's not. In order to make America the AI capital of the world, in order to unleash energy dominance, to protect the jobs, to bring down energy costs, we are not going to regulate out of existence entire sectors of our economy.
I'm weak. He's shout out man joining the scenery. He says just like DEI goals equals word salad / mandates retarded.
It's
That is
not a
crazy.
mandate. DEI was a mandate. You had to reach these goals, otherwise you risked federal funding. It's not semantics to say that there is no law, so you can't say that there's a law. That's not semantics. There is no state in the United States, continental or Alaska or Hawaii,